Good morning. Nancy Wax from the City Attorney's Office. This hearing arose out of instructions from the Council concerning lease termination with regard to the lease between the Latino Theater Company and the City of Los Angeles, with the addition of the Latino Museum of History, Art, and Culture as initially a subtenant and then a co-tenant. The parties, there's been a number of hearings, discussions in closed session, and we were instructed last August to give notice for a hearing in front of the Council. The notice is based on findings made by both departments, Cultural Affairs and GSD, and they are here to give you a brief summary.
Reginald Jones Sawyer, Department of General Services, Asset Management Division. The department General Services looked at about 98 items in the lease agreement, of which the department found the Latino Museum in default on 6 and the Latino Museum in default on 25. There's probably 3 areas of most...
Excuse me, I think you said the museum once and the museum again.
Oh, I'm sorry, Latino Theater.
Correct.
6. I'm sorry, I apologize. Latino Theater in default of 6 items and Latino Museum in default of 25 different items. Of most concern, where they're both mutually in default, was in the areas of the building operating and maintenance account, the Joint Management Committee, and the Facilities Trust Fund. Of most concern to the department, there are monies that are supposed to be brought back to the city. In the case of BOMA, $750,000, which is supposed to make the city whole. The BOMA account, real briefly, was set up by the City Council and the Mayor in an effort to make sure that we have funds in the event that there is a default. We'd have monies there to continue the operations of the building afterwards. The entities within the building can draw down on the account for building maintenance and other operating responsibilities. However, they were supposed to replenish that fund within a relatively short period of time. The original monies come from the entities, and we received about $625,000. Right now in the account, there's $889.37. The other issue of concern is the Joint Management Committee, which is supposed to be set up by both entities as co-tenants, so they could mutually operate and cooperatively run the museum. That JMC committee has not been put together or had any meetings to our knowledge in General Services, and both entities are responsible for making that happen, which to this day is not. And then finally, the Facilities Trust Fund, whenever an event is given, this is another opportunity to make sure that we have monies in the account in the event that major maintenance or construction or needs to be done. $1 surcharge on every ticket is supposed to be deposited, supposed to be asked from the various activities, and $1 for each activity on each ticket. And then those funds are supposed to be given back to the city, so that, again, we have another Facilities Trust Fund in case there's some major work that needs to be done on the facilities. With that, I'll turn it over to the Department of Cultural Affairs.
Good morning. Olga Garay English with the Department of Cultural Affairs. Our department also did an audit on the 2 entities in March of 2011, and we used the lease and specifically the programming sessions of the current lease to base our audit on. For the museum, there were 7 major categories that we looked at and found that they were in compliance in 2 out of the 7, out of compliance in 1, which was to establish a museum store. And then 4 of the items were either we were unable to determine, or they were somewhat in compliance. In terms of the theater company, there were 11 items that we looked at. They were in compliance on 9 out of the 11. One was not in compliance, and that was attendance figures, which they were supposed to have 50% attendance in each of the 4 theaters, and that has vacillated from a high of 69% to a low of 7% in the 2008 season, and one that we couldn't determine the answer to. So in essence, our department feels